Enough of the bureaucracy. It's becoming like China in the Western world. Anyways, welcome back to Plants vs. Zombies with Commentary. I'm Canuck Game Reviews, and I'm going to be talking about today the bureaucracy in the Western world, particularly in school systems. Recently, I heard that Texas, statewide, is spending millions of dollars for those stupid little pouches you put your phone in. Right? Great. So now parents who bought their kids cell phones for protection, well, no, now you're not bringing that to school. Or you're going to bring it to school, and then it's going to be in that little pouch. And then when it's ringing during class, that's going to be loud and annoying. Or somebody's going to steal it. Or somebody's going to, try to saw open one of those bags, right? And then when they do, it's going to be your phone inside, and then your phone gets sawed, right? It's stupid, right? It reminds me a lot of how my junior high school, or middle school for you Americans, this is not the exact same grades, but whatever. We had these snowshoes. Nobody liked them. They were awful. They weren't donated or anything, but they cost taxpayer and donor money, right? Because, you'd have parents and whatnot donate to the school, right? They thought their money was going to, I don't know, air conditioning or maintenance, or, perhaps somebody could be fired and, a better teacher could be hired. No, none of that. Instead, you get snowshoes that nobody likes, and there's not even deep snow or anything around to use them on, right? Because if you know anything about snowshoes, they're supposed to be used with deep snow. And quite honestly, they're not even a leisurely thing. Therefore, transport. So the fact that schools even have those is just strange to me, right? You're not supposed to be doing sports on those. They're for transport, right? They're for transporting yourself, as if you're an Eskimo, not for gym class, right? Nobody liked them. Thousands of dollars wasted on them. They always broke too. Stupid. That's bureaucracy for you. It's pencil pushers who need to keep their job, so they, spend money, right? They implement policies, they spend money, right? And they do that to keep their job, because whoever is employing them and whoever is creating those positions, right, they just don't know what needs to be created. And it comes off of your taxpayer dollar, your mother's taxpayer dollar, your father's taxpayer dollar, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, your son, your daughter, everybody. They all have to pay for it now. It's a useless position. You know how much money you would save from that? Literally hundreds of dollars a year. Hundreds of dollars a year if you didn't have to pay for these bureaucrats. Thousands of positions, in just one state or province could be completely alleviated, right? So that, nobody is doing this, right? Nobody's spending this extra money. It's stupid. There needs to be government investigations on, who is employed where, right? Because some people just get into a point in their life where they're good at office work, and maybe they have some leadership skills, but above all, they're best at bullshitting, right? And those are the people who become bureaucrats, right? I know in my high school, right, when I went to high school, we had this security system. It was the most flawed piece of garbage. When I say appeasal, I mean like a picture of this shows up next to the word appeasal in the dictionary. It is that bad, right? Because a school that was a number of kilometers away, apparently they had a bomb threat, right? And then it turned out to be a joke. And parents, who were parents of kids from my school, they were getting concerned, and they were like, we gotta have more security in this school, right? So what the board did is, these stupid bureaucrats, they decided, okay, let's spend thousands of dollars on installation and maintenance, and of course the product itself. We're gonna put locks on all these doors. These doors are gonna automatically lock, right? It costs thousands of dollars to implement this system. I wouldn't be surprised if it cost tens of thousands of dollars. It was ridiculous. It took a long time to get put up, right? So there were always maintenance guys getting in the way of students and whatnot, and that was going on for like a number of days. Yeah, it got put up, and now doors just lock. So if you're locked out of class, you have to show your school ID to one of two cameras on the exterior of the building, right? And your school ID is a little plastic card, right? So it's pretty easy to lose. If you take a photo of it, that works too. One time I was able to get in because I I showed my face and I told the secretary my name, but then she was getting mad at me, right? And I'll tell you why her getting mad at me was probably the stupidest thing she's ever done in her life. Well, if she's stupid enough to do that, it's probably not the stupidest. Anyways, she's a dumb piece of work. You have an easy job. You have an easy job as a secretary. You're getting mad at a kid, who's what, like 17 years old for not bringing his school ID. I don't want to have this conversation again. Shut the fuck up. How about that? Like, you don't want to have this conversation again? How about you sit on your ass in the office? That's all you do all day. And you do paperwork. And you type on your computer. Like, oh, you're so important and useful. You're so much better than me. Sorry, I forgot about that. All the doors lock in the school. But at the start of the day, as well as at lunch, and in between periods, you can get in. No school ID needed. Right? And on top of that, if there was somebody who's going to shoot or bomb a school, chances are they're coming from inside the school. How often do you hear of some random person just deciding, yeah, you know what? I just hate this school that I've never been to in my entire life. No, that doesn't happen. Right? It's always, these kids are bullying me. My teacher is, she's a piece of work. My math teacher, he gives me bad marks. It's not fair. I need to shoot them. That's what it always is. That's always what it is. And now these bureaucrats, right, in order to appease these stupid parents, and they know they're going to be appeased because they're stupid, right? They decide, okay, yeah, let's make a facade of a security system, right? That's just going to inhibit people, right? It's going to make people late to class. It's going to make secretaries groggy and grouchy with students, right? It's going to piss off the students. Nobody's going to be happy with it, right? And it's going to cost thousands of dollars, taxpayer money. On top of that, the bureaucrats themselves, right? Like, why do you even exist? The school board, we don't need a school board where I live. We don't. No, because what do? You spend money. That's all you do. We would be better off with no school board, to spend no money, right? And it's also these bureaucrats that are forcing us to have, these textbooks, right? And that's a whole, other can of worms. But it's still them allowing it, right? At some level, these people get paid off by these textbook companies to keep requiring students to pay for these textbooks that should not cost, however many dollars a year, right? Like, and then you have to, spend $100 to replace this outdated propagandized textbook that you can find all the information it has online. Like, really? No, that's a scam. That's a scam is what it is. I'm calling it out right now. It's been called out a million times before, but it has to be said again. It's a scam, right? Somebody needs to be held accountable. And these bureaucrats, at some level, I said, are being paid off. They're not being held accountable. Enough with the bureaucracy in Canada. Enough with the bureaucracy in the Western world, right? We don't need that Chinese invention. It's useless. It's useless. That's pretty much all I have for my rants here today. If you enjoyed this, real life commentary with Plants vs. Zombies playing in the background, then I recommend that you subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Don't leave without liking the video, because I need engagement.